when it comes to comic books, no one markets you. The publishing companies don't do like one lick of marketing. Like I remember working for Image Comics and having to like email them constantly to retweet me or to like even like post about my book on Instagram that was coming out on Wednesday.
Hey guys, welcome to Inside Comics with George Michail. Today I'm really psyched. My guest is Andy Belanger. Andy, thanks so much for being on the show.
Hey brother, how's it going? How you doing?
I'm great, man. Yeah. And you're doing great. You got Mother Trucker 2 on Kickstarter now, and you guys just launched Lethal Comics, and lots of cool stuff going on in your world. And I wanted to talk to you about kind of the changing landscape of comic books. And, you know, things are changing because, you know, you're known as being an Image Comics artist from Southern Cross. You worked for IDW and DC, and now you're branching out on your own. You're doing things a little differently now. And I'm wondering if you can tell us a little bit about, you know, what's changed and why are you doing what you're doing?
I think the big thing that's changed was it was tough for me to get my projects off the ground with any publisher, right? They want tried and tested things that have been around for years, and I want to make new stuff. I don't want to just be the spoke in the wheel of another guy that does Thundercats or G.I. Joe or something from DC or Marvel that, you know, you do it now and in 2 months, 3 months after you're finished, no one cares that you did it. I want to make my own comics and always have. I've always been really big into making my own stuff. And with the pro wrestling thing, with being the animal and all that, I wanted to combine my wrestling and my comics into sort of like one thing. And I built Mother Trucker, and I've been writing it for years. In fact, I got into wrestling to make this comic book. And what happened was, after I had everything done in a really solid pitch package with pages and characters, I started farming that around of Image, and Black Label was asking me for stuff, and Boom and other things. And I pitched everyone this idea, and no one wanted to go with it. The second they heard that wrestling was involved, they were out. And I was kind of like, okay, I don't see a whole ton of difference between wrestling and like a Batman comic, besides there's a ring involved. But I really wanted to get that out there, and I just couldn't get it done. No one, as soon as you say wrestling, they were out. And I knew that my comic was going to be, you know, different than what their expectations were. I mean, wrestling comics in Japan are gigantic, like Kinnikuman, and there's so many. And I knew it would work here if I just did it, but I couldn't get the publishers behind me. So Carl Kerschel, who has the Charles Christopher Kickstarter right now, is actually the guy that made me get into doing Kickstarter for the first issue. I thought you had to have a whole graphic novel to kickstart. And he's like, no, just do like 30, 40 pages and try that. And we did, and it was successful. And now I'm on that train. And I think what we're seeing is we want to make our entire business model that. We just want to make our own stuff and give it right to the fans. Cut out Diamond, cut out, you know, as much as we can, and get it right into the fans' hands, you know, and produce our best work. Mother Trucker is easily my best work that I've done in my life.
Yeah, no, it's absolutely gorgeous. And issue 1 just slayed. So, yeah. And so you created your own publishing group of yourselves called Lethal Comics. It's you and Carl and Carrie Nord. And can you tell me a little bit about that group?
Yeah, so I mean, Mother Trucker, I think, was a bit of the guinea pig in that scenario, because we're all used to being sort of like in this world where it's freelance, and we're sort of like vying to get gigs from publishers just to get anything made so that we can, you know, have money coming in the door to pay our bills, because this is how we feed our families and put roofs on our head and all the rest of that stuff. And as it gets going, it's harder and harder, and COVID made it even tougher. I feel like DC scaled back on all their titles, and they're making all kinds of different kinds of work. And we really wanted to get into making our own stuff, and seeing what happened with Mother Trucker 1, we all kind of went, okay, well, let's give this a go. Let's sort of like branch out under one sort of umbrella. And, you know, we basically support, we're a bit like a music label, really. Like I'm like Metallica, and Carrie's like Megadeth, and Carl's like Led Zeppelin, and we're all under like one sort of like publishing thing. And the idea is we're just creating a fan base for the group that is going to be involved with Lethal Comics, and helping each other with resources like printing and merchandise and, you know, getting the word out. So that's sort of in marketing. Because I mean, when it comes to comic books, no one markets you. The publishing companies don't do like one lick of marketing. Like I remember working for Image Comics and having to like email them constantly to retweet me, or to like even like post about my book on Instagram that was coming out on Wednesday. They weren't doing, I had to really push them to get any of that stuff. And a lot of time I didn't, because like if your book wasn't to the taste of the person doing their social media, it just wasn't getting advertised. So you're kind of like, well, how do I get ahead here? If I have to market my own books, if I had to make my own books, the only thing I'm missing is distribution and printing, and Kickstarter takes care of all that. Right? Like I sent out my own books, you know, it takes like a week to box up all your stuff and send it out to all your fans directly, which is more intimate with the fans. And you get to like really connect with your fans a lot better than you would at Marvel and DC. And I just think it's like a better business model moving forward.
Yeah, well, it's a new world. It's a new way of doing things, because for so long you had to depend on a publisher to get your books to stores so people could get them. Now you can go direct to the customer, and it's very different. There's potentially more money. I you know, some people have had a hard time getting their book out to fans, because if you're just a new creator, you don't have that established group of fans, and you're really just kind of hitting your family pretty hard. But you know, someone like you and, you know, and Carrie and Carl, you've built up a fan base over the years, and those people are hungry for your books, and so you can sell your books to them directly, and you have a market waiting for you. So it's working out great for you guys. I'm really happy for you. Can you tell me a little bit about what's going on in Mother Trucker issue 2?
Okay, so Mother Trucker issue 2, the cutoff. If you know your wrestling at all, the cutoff is the part where the first one was called the Shine, where the hero looks cool, and the second one is called the cutoff, the second part of a wrestling match. Or if you're into like Joseph Campbell style storytelling and hero's journey stuff, it's basically when the major problem shows up for the story. So this one, Mother Trucker is sort of like riding high after the first book. And she meets a tag team called Tina Torque and Debbie Deathall. There's these two female wrestlers that want her truck, and she ends up getting a scrap with them. But all the major big problems that are going to come up in the story sort of like show themselves in this second issue. And we're introduced to a few new characters, including one called Brute, who's like a French-Canadian ex-wrestler who was Big Rig's father. And he ends up being like her trainer sort of thing, and trainer mechanic along the whole story. He's my Gandalf character. He's like a mentor character for Mother Trucker. And we introduce him in the beginning, and his story. And then he sort of like comes into this world, and you're going to get to know him. And a lot of the backstory behind Mother Trucker ends up coming out in this one, as well as like the cliffhanger to the second book is sort of like a big thing where you find out like maybe Mother Trucker isn't just trying to be the champion. There's like something bigger on the horizon that she's trying to find out about, something that's been kept from her by the bad guy.
I'd be remiss if I didn't shout out that I've got a book out called Resilient, featuring a cover by yourself. It's in Previews Magazine right now, Resilient #2. So if you guys are watching this, go out to your local comic book store and pick up Resilient #2 featuring Andy Belanger's amazing cover.
Yeah, get out there and get that cover. I made it like extra bloody. It's like actually the first one was really bloody too. Yeah.
They're all really bloody. I'd like to get you on for all the covers in the book. That'd be great.
No problem. I will do that for you. That sounds
awesome. Good. All right, so I have included a link to the Mother Trucker, the final cutoff Kickstarter campaign. It's in the description of this video. So guys, click on that link and go and check out Andy's new book, Animal. I want to thank you for being on Inside Comics. Until next time, dude.
Amazing.
Awesome. Peace.
See you later.